Hello, happy Thursday. I am going to walk through the beginning of our new set of notes that are on the shelf. What I'd like you to do is just have this out in front of you. The sub will go ahead and do me a favor if he or she doesn't do this, remind them to give you the actual assignment that you're going to do based off of these notes when you're done watching. It'll also be posted on Schoology. We are going to start solving equations and inequalities with variables on both sides. I am at home, so instead of actually like writing up here on the smartboard, I'm going to actually take these exact same these three equations right here, and I have them on my board in front of me. And what I'm going to do is just walk through what you see here as being different, and then we'll talk through how to solve. What you should notice right away is I have a W in this case when I go to solve for the variable on both the left and the right side. What that means for us is I need to get the W on one side singularly, meaning I can't have a 5W here and a 2W there. So if I want to get, let's say for example, this W, 2W to this side, how would I do it? I would subtract 2W. Now do me a favor, just as a reminder, if I write, you write, so get these going in your notes. I'm going to go ahead and solve this. 5W minus 2W is 3W. Now the trickier part here is to remember that that plus 1 is still there, but then 3W plus 1 equals 13. Man, should that look familiar? Because I'm guessing you're okay saying, hey, can I go ahead and solve this? Sure. Minus 1 on both sides, 3W equals 12. Divide by 3 on both sides. Notice that I'm showing every single step, W equals 4. Now the one thing, and yes, I am rewriting the equation, and yes, I want you to rewrite the equation. The one thing that you might want to ask is, well, did I have to take the 2W to this side? Could I have taken the 5W over here? Well, in this bottom example, again, same exact equation. I want you to rewrite it in your notes. We're going to go the other way. So we're going to subtract 5W from both sides. Now in this case, these cancel, so I'm left with the 1, but now I have 2W minus 5W. I have negative 3W. Again, that plus 13 drops down, and I now have the W on the right, so I'm going to subtract 13. Notice I get negative 12 equals negative 3W. How do I finish solving? Divide by negative 3 on both sides, but notice W equals 4. No matter what direction I go, I get the exact same answer. Let's do the next one together. I have x plus 50 equals 2x plus 100. Careful note that x is on both sides. So my first order of business is to get the variable on the same side. You can choose. So typically, I think we do better when we have the x on the left. So we're going to subtract 2x. 50 equals, this is gone, sorry, negative 1x plus 50 equals 100. So a couple things to notice there. Notice I put negative 1x plus negative 2x together because these are combining like terms. The combination of these gives me the negative 1x, and I drop the 50. Well, now I've got the variable to the left, so I take the numbers to the right. I subtract 50 on both sides. I get negative 1x equals 50. Now, we know from experience, because we've done ones like this, that if negative x equals 50, then x must be, yes, negative 50. But I think it helps most people to go ahead and divide by negative 1, x equals negative 50. There is my solution. So the last one we're going to do is this one together. 9n equals 4n minus 35. So notice, again, I could take the 9n to the other side, but it's almost always easier, just for our own, like how we think through solving equations, to get instead the 4n to the left. I'm left with 5n equals negative 35. Divide by 5, n equals negative 7. N equals negative 7. Now, a couple things that I want you to just note. We are not going to do any word problems today. We'll actually do those tomorrow when I see you. But for now, will you go ahead and will you hit pause on the actual video and will you work through these 3 examples. Now they're going to get harder faster. You're going to notice right away that as they get harder faster, they should also feel like everything we did yesterday. So let's go ahead and just to be sure, one thing we commented when we did really easy equations was to rewrite the actual equation itself. So just so that we have plenty of room, I'm just going to emphasize that when I look at this equation, 3 times 2x plus 4, sorry about that, plus 2 equals 4x plus 50. Sometimes the actual art of rewriting it allows me to actually feel, for example, like, oh, that 3 is attached to parentheses. How is the 3 attached to parentheses? Through multiplication. So rainbow style, I can distribute the 3 to get 6x plus 12. Now we know from yesterday, I dropped that plus 2 equals 4x plus 50, and honestly, the only difference between yesterday and this stuff today is that I have these variables on both sides. So because we often do better when I take the variable to the left, I'm going to get rid of that 4x. 6x minus 4x is 2x. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and combine these at the same time. 12 plus 2 is 14 equals 50. And then I'm going to hopefully notice 2x plus 14 equals 50. That is nice and easy. Things we've been doing for a while now. This is 2x equals, this is 36, divide by 2, x equals 18. Okay, so this time go ahead and hit pause and do the next 2. Okay, so when I have 4 times 6 minus 3y equals negative 2 times negative 15y minus 12, when I rewrite it, I can really sense both the distributive property and a bunch of negatives. So I've got a distributive property here, that's 24 minus 12y, and I've got a distributive property here. There's a lot going on there. So we got a negative times a negative is positive 30y. This negative times this negative is plus 24. And just to make life a little interesting this time, I'm going to go ahead and take the y's to the right. So I'm going to add 12y here. Again, notice every single step I show, I balance out that equation on both sides by showing it on the left and the right. This cancels here. I'm left with a clean 24 equals, well, 30 plus 12 is 42y. Notice that plus 24 is still here. Now this is where this gets interesting. I subtract 24 on both sides, I get 0 equals 42y. Well, one of our properties that we learned over the past couple weeks is that when I have two numbers that multiply together to give me 0, what must y be? Well, my answer is 0. How do you know for sure? Go ahead and divide by 42. 0 divided by any number is 0. And finally, as our final example for the video, I have 1/6. Notice I for sure rewrite this one because I do not like having fractions written as in diagonal form. Sorry, you're about to hear my dog. Dog's bark a little bit. Sorry about that. I'm excited about what's happening outside. Some people benefit. Sorry about this. Some people benefit from putting a 1 right here. I have 1/6m and a negative 1m. I'm going to go ahead and put the variables to the left. 1 and 1/6 is 7/6m plus 33 equals 5. Subtract 33. I get 7/6m equals, well, 5 minus 33 is negative 28. How am I going to solve with this? Now be careful, listen very carefully to this part. When I am multiplying by a fraction, I am not going to divide by the fraction. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. Do me a favor, please. And if you accidentally divided by 7/6, go into your notes and fix it so that you can see that we have multiplied by the reciprocal on both sides. When I multiply this cross cancels. My final answer is negative 24. The sub will give you the specific numbers from the homework worksheet that you need to do for tonight. As a reminder, if you have test corrections, they are due tomorrow. Also, if you, I'm going to check a whole bunch of homework assignments, so make sure you have your binder intact. I hope you have a great Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow.